Hello. In this video, I will show you how to sew a beautiful winter coat. It's a pretty simple model with a shawl collar, much easier to sew than a classic lapel collar. Let's start with an overview of the materials needed to sew the coat. Main fabric, preferably 100% heavyweight wool. Lining, ideally viscose or acetate. Fusible interfacing, I recommend looking for something similar to the one I'm showing. You'll find the link in the description. 8 buttons, their size is entirely up to you, just ensure the buttonholes are appropriately sized. Belt buckle. Sleeve head, but it's not necessary. If you can't find it in the store, feel free to skip this step. 2 shoulder pads. Eyelets for making holes in the belt. Eyelet pliers, though it's not necessary, eyelets often come with a setting tool in the packaging. Cut out all the pieces from the fabric and interface them with the fusible interfacing. All the information can be found in the written tutorial included with the pattern. Let's start by sewing the back. Prepare 2 back pieces and sew them together at the center back. Press the seam open. Then, attach the side back pieces. Note that with this cut, a piece of fabric should extend outward. Press all the seams. Now, prepare the skirt. Sew together the 2 pieces labeled skirt back. Press the seam open. Attach the skirt side back to this element on each side. Press the seams. Next, join the top and bottom matching the seams. Check that the seams align nicely and trim any excess fabric at the seams. Now, let's move on to the pockets. Fold the pocket welt with the wrong sides together and baste at the edge. I marked the sewing line with blue chalk, 1/2 inch. Place the pocket welt on the pocket bag, ensuring the marked sewing line is on top. Sew and press. Baste the sewing lines on both pocket pieces. This will help you sew the pocket evenly. Align both pocket pieces so that the lines match. You can draw the sewing lines on the skirt if it will be easier for you. I only marked the edges with thread. Sew both pocket pieces together and check on the wrong side whether both seams start and end in the same place and if they are parallel. Cut the pocket open. Turn the pocket right side out. Secure the pocket welt by sewing along the formed triangles. Now sew around the pocket, continuing the seams that were just made. Voila! The pocket is ready. Now repeat it on the other side. Sew the side front to the finished skirt side front. Arrange them so that the armhole is on the side of the pocket opening. Press the seams and attach this piece to the front. Now join the front and back of the coat by sewing the side seams together. Next we will sew the collar. Draw or baste a sewing line on the neckline and collar. You can also mark the intersections with thread. Place both front pieces right sides together and sew along the line marked on the pattern as collar center. Now, take a look at this diagram. I've marked in colors which lines need to be sewn together. To do this, you'll need to cut the corner of one piece, marked in red. It's best to make this cut while sewing, after reaching the green dot with the needle. Start sewing from the armhole and proceed to the green dot. Now, cut one layer of fabric at the corner so you can easily flip it over in relation to the other layer. Cut all the way to the needle. Before resuming sewing, align the center of the collar with the center of the back. Note that you will have excess fabric on top, which you will need to spread evenly. I do this with my fingers. After sewing through the center, pin the next matching point and sew the rest. This is what the finished collar looks like. Now we will repeat all these steps with the facing. The only difference is that we will be sewing the center of the collar to the center of the back neck facing, so mark the center at the bottom and top of this piece. Fold the facing with right sides together and sew along the center of the collar. Again, attach one side and start sewing. Cut the corner and pin the matching points. Cut the corner again and sew to the end. The front facing is ready. You can trim the excess fabric at the corners and seams. Prepare the sleeve pieces. First, sew along the elbow seam. Set the longest stitch on your machine and make 2 parallel lines of stitching on the sleeve head. Leave long thread tails at the ends to gather the sleeve head. Next, sew the side seams of the sleeve. Note that one side is longer. Place the longer side down on the feed dogs. This will make it easier to distribute the fabric evenly. Pull the threads to shape the sleeve head. Place both pieces right sides together at the side seams. Attach the sleeve to the armhole, matching the notches. Use gathering to adjust the sleeve cap to fit the armhole. Sew the sleeve head to the seam allowance. I do this on the sewing machine using the longest stitch. Next, attach the shoulder pad. Fold it in half to mark the center and place it on the shoulder seam. Sew it by hand. Now let's sew the belt, as we will need it for attaching the belt loops. Place the belt right sides together and sew all the way around, leaving an opening to turn the belt right side out. Baste and top stitch the belt all around. At one end of the belt, make a hole to pass through the buckle. Slide the buckle through and sew over the existing seams. If your machine can't handle it, do it by hand. Make a few more holes for fastening the belt. It's best to try the belt on and mark the desired hole placement. The belt is now ready. We need to make the belt loops. Prepare 3 or more rectangles and fold them right sides together. Sew at 1/2 inch, turn them right side out and press. Measure the width of the belt and add 5/16 of an inch. Divide that by 2 and measure that value from the waistline in both directions. Place each loop right side to right side and sew it in place where you marked with a pin. Then, try on the belt and adjust the loop so that the belt slides freely through it. Pin the loop in place. Attach the loop by matching the 2 pins. Sew and trim any excess material. Make as many loops as you desire, and you're done. Now let's work on the lining. Prepare the back lining. Cut the thread marking the top of the dart. Place the back pieces right sides together and sew at the bottom and top of the pleat, sewing approximately 1 inch. Sew the darts. As you can see, this creates a pleat that allows for ease of movement without the risk of tearing the lining. Now sew the rest of the lining in the same manner as you did for the coat. Sew the back of the skirt pieces together and attach them to the back. Then sew the side front and skirt side front pieces together. Sew the front and back of the lining together at the side seams. Attach the front lining element to the resulting piece. Now, sew the front and back lining pieces at the shoulder seams. Sew the sleeves. Leave a hole in one sleeve for turning the coat right side out after attaching the lining. You don't need to gather the sleeve head, simply fold the excess fabric into a pleat. Next, lay the lining and the facing of the coat right sides together. Pin all the matching points and sew the lining to the facing. Sew the finished piece right side to right side of the coat, matching the notches. Press the seam open and trim one seam allowance to avoid bulk. Now is a good time to sew on the buttons, so that the threads are hidden between the two layers of the coat. Now we will finish the sleeves with the lining. Shorten the sleeve lining by 1/2 inch. Fold the sleeve up by 1.1 inch and baste it in place. Finish the hem with hand blind stitch. Make sure the seams of the sleeve and lining match. Place the lining right side to right side with the sleeve hem. Pin it in place with one pin. Turn the sleeve inside out through the hole in the sleeve lining. Remove the pin, and now you can see how the lining should be arranged. Pin the lining to the hem and sew. Before we finish the bottom of the coat with the lining, we will join the two layers of the collar together. Align the open seams and pin them together. Sew by machine or by hand. You may have noticed that the seam allowance on one side of the collar was smaller. This allows it to nicely hide the seam underneath. Turn the entire coat inside out and arrange the bottom of the coat and lining so that the seams match. Pin it in place. Start sewing from the front of the coat at a height of 1.1 inch. Gently curve down to half an inch across the entire coat to the other front, where you will curve back up to a height of 1.1 inch. With contrasting thread, baste the coat hem at a height of 1.1 inch. This will be a guideline for pressing the hem. Press the bottom of the coat and turn it right side out. Remove the basting stitch. This will give you the defined hem. On the right side, baste the hem. For now, don't worry about the front edges. This is a good time to try on the coat and check if the lining pulls the hem anywhere or sticks out beyond the edge. If necessary, make the needed adjustments and turn the coat inside out. Trim the excess fabric at the corners, and secure the hem with a hand blind stitch, the same one used for the sleeves. Turn the coat right side out and remove the basting. Press the bottom hem. Make the buttonholes using a sewing machine, or by hand. Close the hole in the sleeve lining, and voila! Your coat is finished. Thank you for watching the tutorial. I would appreciate it if you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.